Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my 13th Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. This is against ThePKMNFreak from YouTube. And I have my Exploud behind me just because I haven't had him behind me, and he did pretty well this fight. So he leads off with his Electivire, and I lead off with my Fortress. This is my mixed tier team, so yeah, this Fortress just basically is meant to set up. So he goes for a Cross Chop, which I was kind of questioning that move, but oh well. Maybe he was just hoping for a crit or something, and I go for Stealth Rocks, and then he switches into his Gengar, and while I set up a layer of Toxic Spikes. I figured he would Hypnosis, because I didn't know really what he could do to me. So, he puts me to sleep, and I just figure stay in, because there's really not much my Fortress can really do. So, I figured stay in, see what I can do if I wake up. And he goes for a Shadow Ball, which I kind of questioned why he did that, but then he got a special defense drop, and that worked out pretty well for him. So I'm still asleep, which blows, and then he goes for a Focus Blast with the special defense drop, and like almost kills Fortress. And I'm still asleep, just conveniently, because that's always what happens to me. I stay asleep forever, and then he finishes me off with the Shadow Ball. So I go into my Zapdos now. I figured he would try to Hypnosis, but I figured I'd try to take out the sub, so he'd have to set up another one. And yeah, I was right, he did go for a Hypnosis. And I figured he'd set up a sub, so I stayed in. And then I switch out Zapdos and go into Exploud because I figured a Shadow Ball was coming. And then I switch him right back out and go back into Zapdos because I figured a Focus Blast was coming. So I was just playing some mind games at that point. And Focus Blast doesn't really do that much. And I actually wake up on the next turn, which I guess makes up for Fortress never waking up. And I get the Thunderbolt off. And he goes for the Shadow Ball. And it does a pretty good chunk of damage to Zapdos. And he gets a special defense drop. He takes back his Gengar and goes into his Electivire, which is a really smart move. Because I went for a Thunderbolt, and now he's faster because of his ability, Motor Drive, and so I decided to switch out Zapdos and go into Weezing because I figured some kind of physical move was coming, so Weezing would be the best to take it. And he went for an Ice Punch, so that was nice. And so he switches out Electivire and goes into his Togekiss, and I went for a Sludge Bomb, and it does a pretty good amount of damage. I mean, considering Togekiss has pretty high special defense. I didn't know if I'd be able to take an Air Slash even if Weezing doesn't have a great special defense, but he gets a crit. I don't really know if it mattered, and I don't feel like calculating it or anything. So I go into Zapdos, figuring I'd be faster and stuff. I didn't know if he'd switch back into his Electivire, which I figured he would, but he actually endures, and I went for a Heat Wave, and he gets his Salic Berry boost, and I go for another Heat Wave. I didn't know if I'd be faster or not, and I still was. But it's probably because I have a timid nature and max speed, I think. So I went for a Heat Wave on Electivire when he brought him in because I knew that'd be my last move because of Life Orb. And Zapdos dies. So I go back into my Exploud, not wanting to give away any of my other guys, and it was actually a really good move because he has Salamence and it had Intimidate. And he went for an Earthquake. I was expecting like a Dragon Claw or something like that, but he didn't, and it still is a pretty good amount of damage to Exploud. And I just go for a Hyper Voice just to see how much damage I can put on it, and it almost kills it. Almost does. And then he goes for another Earthquake. I didn't know if I'd be able to take it. I figured I'd try, and I do. I live it with 4 health. 4 freaking health. And then I finish him off with a Hyper Voice, and then I die from Life Orb. So now I'm down to my last 2 guys. He has 3, and I send him my Honchkrow, and I figured he would go for a Hypnosis, so I went for a Night Slash instead of a Sucker Punch, and it turns out I was faster anyways, and I kill him. So then he goes into his Rhyperior, and I was hoping Super Luck or something would kick in with my, I think, Max Attack and Adamant Nature, and I used Superpower, and it didn't. But I was figuring he'd go for like a Stone Edge or something, but he actually went for a Mega Horn, which still didn't matter because he killed Honchkrow. And I don't really know if that defense drop mattered either. But not that matters because I sent him my Feraligatr, my last guy, and I Ice Punch because I didn't know who his last guy was, and I didn't know if he'd like try to resist a water move or something. But it turns out Ice Punch wouldn't have been a good move for his last guy because he has a Metagross. And I figure out that I'm faster, so I go for it, and I go for an Earthquake, and it doesn't quite kill him. It does a pretty good amount of damage. I figured it wouldn't, and he actually Earthquakes me right back. I didn't know what he would do, and I live it with 121 health, and I figured he'd Bullet Punch because there's nothing he can do. So, good game, the Pokemon Freak. It was a really close match. I had a really good time playing it. And I'll leave his channel link in the description. And please subscribe. I want some more subscribers. And I'll see you guys next time.